हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री हिरण्यगर्भाय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री महादुर्गाये नमः। ओम श्री राम रामाय नमः। ओम श्री सद्गुरवे नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करौ वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणौ याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धा स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगताम् अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः शिवाय 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 ॐ नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वतीपतये। हर हर महादेव। हरि ओम हरि ओम। So we are revising the entire Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter of Bhagavad Gita reveals the main cause of our suffering, and that is avidya, ignorance of our own self, not knowing that I am Brahma. This knowledge is absent in our buddhi from the beginningless time. Therefore, this avidya is anadi. And this avidya causes different types of delusion, confusion, wrong understanding of our own self. So that can be eliminated only by gaining proper self-knowledge with the help of the Shastra. So the second chapter reveals that self-knowledge, Atma Vidya, and also gives the characteristics of a person who has gained that Atma Vidya and one who has become free, Jivan Mukta, Sthita Prajna. Then, in order to gain this self-knowledge, we have to prepare our buddhi. Because in the buddhi itself, we have to acquire this knowledge and thereafter meditate to gain abidance in our own self. So, in order to gain this knowledge, we have to prepare the buddhi, make it free from all impurities, make it free from all raga dvesha. Because the buddhi is holding on to the body, holding on to false notion of the self. Therefore, we have to purify the buddhi, and that can be done through karma yoga. So karma yoga was explained in detail in the third chapter. And once our buddhi becomes pure, we can approach the teacher and gain self-knowledge. That was presented in the fourth chapter. So once we gain that self-knowledge, we come to understand that the self in me is that Satchidananda Swarupa, is different from this gross body, is different from the subtle body, is different from this world. It is Satyam Jnanam Anantam, Sakshat, that Brahma Roop only. So once we gain this firm understanding of the self, one has to renounce all karma and meditate. So renounce the sense of doership in all karma. So that is called karma sannyas. So karma sannyas was explained in the fifth chapter. Now in the sixth chapter, Bhagavan talks about nididhyasan. We have to meditate on our own self and gain abidance in our own self. The self which we have understood with the help of our purified buddhi, we have to gain abidance in that self. Constantly when we think of the self, that paradigm shift happens and we gain that abidance. So the sixth chapter, Bhagavan begins by again giving the importance of karma yoga, that through karma yoga you purify your mind. Because those who want to meditate, they have to become ready for meditation, and that can happen only through karma. So arurukshor muner yogam karma karanam uchyate, yoga rudhasya tasyeva shamak karanam uchyate. And one who has become ready for meditation should then withdraw all the attention from everything and focus on that self and gain abidance in that self. So how should one do it? Bhagavan says you have to gain that vairagya, and the detailed instructions are given. Ki yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi stitaha Ekaki yata chittatma nirashira parigraha. You be alone in solitude, constantly meditate. Sit on a very pure asana and focus your attention on your own self and constantly meditate on the self. Yunjannevam sadatmanam yogi niyatamanasah shantim nirvana parama mat sansthamadi adhigacchati. One who meditates in this way will attain that self-realization, will attain oneness with Ishvara. So while following this path of meditation, Nididhyasan, one should live a very moderate life. Too much of eating or too less eating, too much of sleeping or not sleeping at all is not proper. One should follow the proper, rational, moderate life. So yukta hara viharasya yukta cheshtasya karmasu yukta swapnavabodhasya yogo bhavati dukkhaha. One should lead a yukta life. And one who gains this abidance in the self will gain supreme happiness. Not tamasic happiness, not rajasic happiness, not sattvic, but beyond all these three gunas. Sukham atyantikam yattad buddhigrahyam atindriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam stitas chalati tattvataha. So for that one has to have that steadiness in meditation, focusing one's attention on one's own self, like the flame of a lamp kept in a windless place. You can see the flame very steady. In the same way, all the vrittis of our mind should be focused on the self. It should become absolutely steady, and then only we will gain abidance in our own self. So Bhagwan gives instruction of this meditation also, कि शनै शनै रूपरमेद बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किंचित अपि चिन्तयेत्. That slowly and steadily withdraw all your attention from everything else and focus on that Atma which you have understood from the teacher through Shravan Manan, what you are convinced about. Focus your attention on that self. And once the attention is focused on the self, then don't initiate any other thought. Atma sanstam manakritva na kinchit api chintayet. Even if the mind runs away in other objects, bring it back again and again and place it on the self, on this antaratma, on the kshetrajna. So yato yato nischarati manaschanchalam astiram tatastato niyamye tata atmani eva vasham nayet. So in this way, a person who constantly meditates gains that abidance in the self. Means there is a paradigm shift happens. Then the person looks at the whole world from the standpoint of his own supreme self. In the state of ignorance, we look at the world from the standpoint of ahankar. But when we gain abidance in ourself, we look at the world, we look at everything from the standpoint of our supreme self. So how does he see? Bhagavan says, Sarva bhutastham atmanam sarva bhutani cha atmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. That he sees his own self in all, and he sees everything in his own self. He sees his self everywhere. There is nothing other than the self. He sees the presence of his own self in this whole world. He sees the whole world existing in his own self. the most glorious and amazing vision he gains. So sarvabhutasthitam yo mam bhajatyekatvamasthitah sarvatha vartamanopi sa yogi mayi vartate. So outwardly he might be seen engaged in different types of activity, but that yogi is always residing in that supreme Ishvara alone. Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihina yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati 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 eva. That yogi is always reveling in Brahma, is established in Brahma. So most wonderful guidance is given for this seeker who is ready for Nididhyasan. But then Arjuna is asking a question that, oh, my mind is so restless, it is very difficult to focus attention on the self. Bhagavan says, yes, mind is restless, but through abhyas and vairagya, we will be able to focus our attention on ourself. Through vairagya, we can withdraw the attention from the world around, and through abhyas, we can focus our attention on our own self. Then again, Arjuna asks question that what if one is practicing this Nididhyasan very sincerely, but before attaining the supreme goal of self-realization, what if that person dies? What happens? Will all his sadhana will get wasted? What will happen? What will be the gati of this person? Bhagavan says, first of all, you should understand that there is no durgati for one who is following this path. Nahi kalyana krut kaschita durgatim tata gacchati. And such a person will go to a higher world and again will come back in this world and continue his spiritual journey from where he left. Or he might just be born again in a yogi's family and continue on his path till he attains his goal. So there is no loss, there is no durgati for a person who is following this path sincerely. Therefore, hey Arjuna, Bhagavan says, you become a yogi. Gain proper this knowledge. First follow the path of Karma Yoga. Gain Chitta Shuddhi, gain that self-knowledge and become a yogi. Meditate constantly on yourself. So yoginam api sarvesham tapasvibhyo diko yogi jnanibhyopi matodikaha karmibhyashchadiko yogi tasmad yogi bhavarjuna. Therefore you become a yogi. So thus this sixth chapter is very beautiful guidance for those who are following the path of Nididhyasan. Now, the problem we have seen is ignorance of the self, and the solution is to gain that self-knowledge and gain abidance in our own self. So the whole process is complete till this sixth chapter. So what is the use, what is the purpose of having the following chapters? See, the scriptures talk about this Atma, and this Atma is not confined to this body. Atma is present everywhere. And there is nothing other than that Atma. Atma alone is there. So there is no dvaita, there is no duality of any kind. So if there is no duality of any kind, so what is the status of this world which we see? Because that also has to be clarified. Otherwise, I will have the feeling that, oh, I am this Atma and this world is also there. So as long as there is a dvaita, there will be fear, there will be samsara. So one has to understand it properly and should understand that Advaita Tattva. So what is the status of this world? That is revealed in the following chapters. From chapter 7 onwards till the chapter 12, Bhagavan reveals what is exactly the nature of this world. Is the world real? Is the world unreal? Is the world an illusion? People have different ideas about the world. Some think that world is asat. It is not there. Asat means it is unreal, non-existent. Some people say that, it is non-existent, but still it is experienced, so it is an illusion. It is mithya. So, by calling the world mithya, they want to gain abidance in that Advaita Tattva. But what does the Shastra say? The Shastra say this world which you see in front of you is not asat. This world is not non-existent. This world is not an illusion. World is not mithya. Then what is this world? World is an expression of Bhagwan's Prakriti. World is Bhagwan's Prakriti only. And the nature of this world is that it is constantly changing. But it is not a non-existent. It is a changing existence. And it is Bhagwan's Prakriti. And Bhagwan's Prakriti is not different from Bhagwan. Bhagwan's Prakriti is Bhagwan's Shakti. And Shakti and Shaktiman are not different. So this world is Prakriti of Bhagwan, Ishvara. Prakriti is not different from Ishvara. And that Ishvara is Sakshat Brahma. And that Brahma is my own self. We have to assimilate this world also in our own self. We don't have to negate the world, but we have to assimilate the world in our own self. Like this pot. The pot is not different from clay. But the nature of pot seems to be different from clay because pot has got a shape, pot gets broken, but the clay doesn't have any shape, the clay doesn't break. But the pot is not different from clay. From the standpoint of clay, when I look, other than clay, nothing is there. Similarly, the world is like a pot, and that Ishvara is like that clay. So world is not different from Ishvara. Ishvara is not different from Brahma, and I am not different from that Brahma. So one has to understand this properly, because lot of misunderstanding is there about Vedanta. One of the greatest misunderstanding is that everyone start calling this world as mithya. They keep quoting one shloka, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva na Aparaha. And they claim that this is the shloka of Bhagwan Sri Adi Shankaracharya, but it is not the shloka of Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya never called this world as mithya. In fact, the world is called mithya by the Buddhist. The Buddhist philosophy, according to the Buddhist philosophy, the world is mithya. Ishvara is not there, and Atma is also not there. So everything is shunya only. So world is mithya according to Buddhism. And since world is mithya, there is no Ishvara, because there cannot be Ishvara to create an illusory world. So they don't accept Ishvara also. And they don't believe in the self also. So everything is Shunya. And Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji, he in his Bhashya of Brahma Sutra and other Bhashya, he has negated this view of Buddhism. But there are those who wrongly they have popularized that what Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji is saying is world is mithya, which is not what he said. And since they have created this false propaganda about Adi Shankaracharya, many people, they falsely also start calling Shankaracharya ji as Prachanna Bauddha. This word was first used by Ramanujacharya, calling Adi Shankaracharya as Prachanna Bauddha, means a Buddhist in disguise. Because Buddhists say the world is mithya. Because if we say world is mithya, then Ishvara also becomes mithya, and Jiva also becomes mithya. But that is a very, very false claim. And all these things are happening because we are not focusing our attention on the Shastra, on the Upanishads, and we are not studying actually the Shankar Bhashya properly. Many people give importance to the Prakarana Granthas, like Tattvabodh, like Vivek Chudamani, like Drigdrishya Vivek, like Vedanta Sara, which most of them convey this world as mithya, which is not at all true, which is not in tune with what the Shastras are saying, which is not in tune with what Bhagavad Gita is saying. So in this 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan very, very clearly he says, this world is my Prakriti. Bhumirapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhirevacha ahankar iti yamme bhinna prakriti ashtadha. Bhagwan says, this is my Prakriti, ashtadha Prakriti, which has gone to become this world, which is expressing as this world. And my para Prakriti, the pranas, express as all the jivas. And other than my Prakriti, other than me, there is nothing else in this world. Matta parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. Everything is pervaded by me. I alone exist. I am there in the waters as the taste. I am there in the sun and the moon as the brilliance. I am there in the whole Vedas as the Omkara. I am like sound in space. I am like the Gandha in the Prithvi. I am life in all the beings. Bhagwan says, recognize me. All that is there, Satvik, Rajasik, Tamasic, all you understand them as coming from me only. Echaiva satvika bhavaha rajasas tamasaschaye matta eveti tan viddhi natvaham teshu te mai. All of them are produced from me only. Just like a clay saying that all these pots and all these different bricks and all these different items of clay, they are all from me. I am present in all. So this Prakriti is the most mysterious Shakti of Bhagwan. This Prakriti is also called Maya. Bhagwan says, Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. Bhagavan says, my Maya is very, very mysterious. It's the most great power of mine. And we have to transcend this Maya and recognize that Ishvara is our own self. We have to transcend the Maya. Maya cannot be destroyed. See, many people wrongly, they say that through knowledge we can destroy Maya. If you destroy Maya, you are destroying Ishvara. Because Maya is Ishvara Shakti. Maya cannot be destroyed. You can transcend the Maya through surrendering to Ishvara. Avidya can be destroyed through self-knowledge. Avidya is different and Maya is different. Many people, they say Maya and Avidya are same. So they call Avidya as Anirvachaniya, Maya also Anirvachaniya. They call Maya as Sat Asadbhyam Anirvachaniyam. They say Maya is neither real nor unreal, nor both. So all sorts of misunderstanding is there. But Maya is Bhagwan Shakti. One can transcend Maya by surrendering to Ishvara. Mameva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. And all our scriptures, the Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, all of them talk about worshipping that Ishvara. Ishvara is not an illusion. World is not an illusion. The scriptures will not tell us to worship an illusion. Like the rope, if you see a snake on the rope, nobody will tell you that, oh, worship that snake. If that snake is illusion, why should I worship it? I should drive it away and recognize that rope. But the Shastras, they talk about worshipping this world as Ishvara. Bhagavan says, Chaturvidha bhajante mam. In 4 ways people worship me. Those who are in sorrow, they come to me, surrender to me. Those who want something in this world, they come to me. Those who want to know about me, they come to me. And those who know me, they worship me. So Artha, Artharthi, Jnani, Jidnyasu, all of them, they worship me. But among all of them, the Jnani Bhakta is the great, is superior. So after following this path sincerely for many, many lifetimes, a person becomes a jnani and surrenders to me. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanvan mam prapadyate vasudevas sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. One who surrenders to that Ishvara comes to know that everything is Ishvaramay only. Even the Upanishads say, Isha vasyamidam sarvam yat kincha jagatyam jagata. Everything is Isha vasyam. Everything is pervaded by Ishvara. Siya Ramamay sabajagajani vasudevas sarvamiti. And Enlightened Master, he sees the world with his eyes. He is looking at this world and he knows this world is Ishvara only. Because this world is the expression of Ishvara Shakti, and Ishvara Shakti is not different from Ishvara. Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya, he says that Sa Shakti hi Brahma eva. This Ishvara Shakti is Brahma only, because it's Brahma Shakti. So Sa Shakti hi Brahma eva aham, and that Shakti is not different from me, because Shakti Shaktimataha ananyatvat. Because Shakti and the Shaktiman are not different. Power and the one who has got power is same. So this we have to understand properly. So one should not rely on these Prakarana Granthas. One should not rely on all the wrong interpretation of Vedanta, but study and understand Vedanta from the Upanishads, from Bhagavad Gita, from the Brahma Sutra, and from Bhagwan Shankaracharya's Bhashya on all this. So Bhagwan says that one who meditates on me one who have developed that love for me, they come to me, they come to understand me completely. Jara marana mokshaya ईशाम त्वंतगतम पापम जनानाम पुण्य कर्मणाम ते द्वंद्व मोह निर्मुक्ताः भजन्ते माम दृढ़व्रताः. One who becomes free from all impurities, from all papa, they worship me with ananya bhava, to become free of this samsara. So jara marana mokshaya mam ashritya yatanti ye te brahma tad viduk krishnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. They come to me completely, come to know me completely. They come to know me as Brahma. They come to know me as their own self. They come to know me as this world. They come to know me as Hiranyagarbha. They come to know me as Vaishvanara. They come to understand, know me even at the time of their death. Prayana kale pichamam te vidur yukta chetasaha. So this world is not different from Ishvara's Prakriti. Ishvara's Prakriti is not different from Ishvara. Ishvara is not different from Brahma, and that Brahma is my own self. There is nothing called Mithya. There is nothing called non-existent. Okay? So this is very, very clearly revealed here. And when we come to recognize our own self properly, we become free of all this bondage. Otherwise, we are bound, we remain stuck in this world, which is divine only, but we get stuck with our wrong notion about ourselves and this world and about Ishvara. So as long as we are ignorant, we remain in this world, and we gain different results of our karma. So, depending on our karma, we get different gatis. We are born in this world or we are born in other worlds. So, there are many worlds, all expression of Bhagavan's Prakriti. So, there are higher worlds, there are lower worlds, there are Swarga Lokas, there are Naraka Lokas. So Bhagavan says, those who surrender to me, they become free of this samsara. But those who don't surrender to me, those who continue in this samsara, they are born in different worlds. They get different gatis. That is the topic in the 8th chapter, where Bhagavan talks about his these various gatis which a person gains in this world and other worlds. So first Bhagavan defines the various terms which were used in the 7th chapter, like Adi Yajna, like Brahma, Adhyatma, Karma, Adibhuta, Adidaiva, Adi Yajna. And how one can attain Ishvara even at the time of death. Bhagavan says, whatever one thinks at the time of death and leaves this body, one gains that gati. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajantyante kalevaram tam tamai vaiti kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavitaha. Whatever we have desire, our desire takes us from one world to another world. Our desires take us from one life form to another life forms. Our desire give what we call the different gatis to us. So because of our avidya, we have misunderstanding about our own self, and because of that we have different desires. And propelled by these desires, we are born again and again in different life forms on this in this world, or we are born we go to different lokas. But Bhagavan says, if you keep desire for me, if you think about me, if you have desire only for me, then you will attain me. कि तस्मात् सर्वेषु कालेषु माम अनुस्मर युध्य च मय्यर्पित मनो बुद्धि माम एव ऐष्यसि असंशयम. If at all times you think about me, keep your attention on me, desire me, and leave this body, you will attain me. But if you don't have that desire for me, then you will go to different lokas. So Bhagavan, in many verses, he tells us how one can think about Ishvara. We can think about Ishvara by taking the support of his name also. And his most beautiful name is that Omkara. So Bhagavan says, keeping all your attention on me, restraining your pranas, restraining all your thoughts, and focusing your attention on me by chanting my name Om. So Om iti ekaksharam brahma vyaharan mam anusmaran yap prayati tejan deham sayati paramam gatim. So one who chants Om and leaves this body with total focus on that Ishvara will attain that Param Gati, will attain Ishvara. Therefore, one should constantly remember Ishvara by taking his name. So, Ananya Cheta Satatam Yo Mam Smarati Nityashaha Tasyaham Sulabha Partha Nitya Yuktasya Yoginaha. Bhagavan says, one who constantly remember me, for them I am very easily attained. But those who don't remember me, those who are involved in fulfilling their desires, those who are involved in getting the little pleasures of this world, then they remain in this samsara. So because of our desires, we are born again in this samsara. But some may say that with my sadhana I will go to higher loka, I will go to Swarga Loka, I will go to Brahma Loka and remain there and enjoy. There are some faith also which talks about going to Swarga and having a nice jolly good time there. So do some karmas here in this world and then go to Swarga and live for a long time. Bhagavan says even if you go to Swarga, you will have to come back to this world. There is no such thing called eternal heaven. So he says that kshine punye martya lokam vishanti. Once your punya karma gets exhausted, you are born again here. Bhagavan also says that even if you go to Brahmalok, it is not lasting. You will not be able to stay there permanently. Bhagavan says, Abrahma bhuvanal lokaha punaravartinorjuna. Mam upetyatu kaunteya punarjanmana vidyate. That even if one goes to Brahmalok, one is born again. Because all these worlds are punaravarti. One is born again and again. There is no permanent residence in these worlds. But if we attain Ishvara, there is no more birth. There is no more coming back to samsara. Once we come to comprehend Ishvara as our own self, Ishvara as Brahma as our own self, then we are not born again. Otherwise, we are born again and again. This world which we see, as I said, is the expression of Bhagavan's Prakriti. And this world goes into different stages of creation, sustenance and dissolution. or you can say the world gets manifested and unmanifested. But world is eternal. It is eternally manifesting and becoming unmanifest. So Bhagavan says that 1 year or 1 day of Brahmaji is like 1000 Chaturyugas, and 1 night of Brahmaji is like 1000 Chaturyugas. So even if one think about 1 day of that Creator, it is so vast. And in 1 day, if we are not enlightened, we will be born again and again and again and again, countless time. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahi murare. We are born again and again and again. Avyaktad vyaktayas sarva prabhavantyah ragame ratragame praliyante tatra eva avyakta sanyake bhutagramasya evayam bhutva bhutva praliyate ratragame avashappartha prabhavantyah ragame. Bhagavan says that this world is created and all beings are born from that unmanifest. They are born again in the daytime of that Brahmaji, and when the night time of Brahmaji comes, all of them again get dissolved, goes into Avyakta. So from Avyakta they become Vyakta, from Vyakta they become Avyakta. So this goes on, and this itself is called our samsara. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, punarapi janani jathare shayanam. Iha samsare bahudustare kripaya pare pahi murare. This samsara is very, very difficult, full of sorrow, pain. We have to take birth again and again in different life forms. And it is everlasting till one gains self-realization. So Bhagavan says that there are two very popular paths are also mentioned after death. One is the path of return and the path of no return. So when we perform karma, desire prompted activities, expecting some result, the Vedic karma, when we perform the rituals, etc., we obtain lot of punya, and we go through that path of return, the path of darkness, the path of the moon, the path of Dakshinayan. And after enjoying and living in those world of Swargaloka, etc., then we again come back into this world. But a seeker who follows the path of Karma Yoga, that seeker who does upasana of that Brahmaji, who follows the guidance of the Shastra, and through this, when one goes to those that Brahmalok through Uttarayana Marga, then such a person is not born again in this world. Then that he gains knowledge of that self from that Creator himself, and is not born again. So this is the path of no return. So both these paths are mentioned in this 8th chapter. So this 8th chapter is talking about the different gati in this world only. But this world, this Jagat, is not different from Bhagavan's Prakriti, and Bhagavan's Prakriti is not different from Bhagavan. Okay? So therefore, we have to sincerely pursue the path which Bhagwan has shown us and become free of this samsara. So again to repeat, our main basic problem is avidya, not knowing ourselves as we are. See, actually, this avidya is anadi. We are born with this avidya. We are born with ignorance of our own self. And this ignorance of the self gives rise to misunderstanding about ourself. And this misunderstanding creates different desires in our antakarana. We want to gain different things so that we can become happy. So we strive to become free of our sorrow and we strive to gain happiness. And this goes on and on and on. So we have to understand that if we want to become free of all this sorrow and suffering, we should gain self-knowledge. So that self-knowledge is revealed in the second chapter. Bhagwan reveals the identity of this innermost self. When we say self, when we say Atma, we mean the self expressing in this body, present in this body. The Antaratma, the Kshetrajna, the what you call the Purusha, that Atma has to be recognized. So through various techniques, the Shastras indicate the nature of this self, gives the knowledge of the self. The self alone has to be known. And to make us fit to know this self, we have to pursue the path of Karma Yoga. Fulfill all your duties, dedicate them to Ishvara with a total detached attitude, with equanimous mind, samatva buddhi. Keep on doing your duties and accepting whatever comes as Bhagwan's prasad. So that will make our mana more and more pure. Our mind will become free of raga dvesha. Mind will become free of kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsar, all these impurities. And once the mind becomes pure, we become fit to understand the self. So approach a teacher who is from the proper sampradaya. Because if you don't gain this knowledge properly, then there will be total confusion only. All sorts of confusion will be there. So through the proper parampara, gain self-knowledge. And once we gain that self-knowledge, drop all attachment to karma, drop the sense of doership. See, because of the upadhis of stula sharir and sukshma sharir, and because of the activities of the stula sharir and sukshma sharir, we start considering ourselves as the doer, as the knower, as the enjoyer. All these are activities. All these are notions of doership, enjoyership, and knowership, which has to be dropped through proper understanding. That is called karma sannyas, and then meditate, nididhyasan. So shift attention from everything else and focus attention on the self. Shanai shanai ruparamed buddhya dhriti grihitaya atma sanstam manak kritva na kinchit api chintayet. Come to recognize yourself. But recognize this self not as confined only to this body, then understand the self is all pervading Brahma. The self pervades this whole world, and the whole world is the expression of this self. So that self as Brahma alone expresses as this world. So the world is the expression of the Shakti of that Brahma, Prakriti of that Brahma. So recognize this identity with that Brahma properly and become free. Otherwise, we will be born again and again in this world, or we will go to some other world and again we'll have to come back to this world. So in this way, we saw briefly the main point of this 8 chapters. So tomorrow we will study the 9th, 10th and the 11th chapter. 3 chapters we will see, revise in our class tomorrow. So till then, you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy. Do your work, do your sadhana. Go through this talk again. If you have any question, if you have any doubt, if you have any confusion, you can always ask. Because if you don't ask, I will assume that you don't have any confusion, everything is clear. Okay? And we shall meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Boliye Syavar Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.